we'll find out.
All right.
Well, if you're catching us on the replay, all this is really just a simple 20-second lead in as we wait for some ads to show. And otherwise, it's 7 p.m. here on a Thursday night, which means it is time for the Car Guy and SixFan show. I'm your host, Grant Tommy. I am straight SixFan, which is SixFan of this operation, and that means this guy over to this direction
is Jason. I am the car guy of the Car Guy and SixFan show. Guys, welcome to this Thursday evening. We're happy to have Eli here from Monster Rust as our guest tonight. And yes, I was reading through the chat. He is eating, folks. You called that one 100%. So no surprise there. Eli, welcome to the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do on your show and or on your channel, and a little bit about the history of yourself.
Well, basically, what I do is I'm a car hunter, and I go around looking for cars with my wiener, but not that wiener. This wiener right here. I go around looking for cars with my wiener, and so we try to see what we could find for our customers. Try to see what's out there. What hidden gems we can definitely try to save. Try to have somebody who's actually going to work on them a new home, and I got a good amount of projects myself, and I just take people on the journey with us.
Well, and that's what I love about your channel. It does have its own unique spin. I haven't really seen one like it of the sorts, and it's a nice hybrid for me between the types of shows I wouldn't watch and shows I do like to watch. So we have a mutual friend, Benny, of course, with Classic Ride Society. He's always going to the junkyard and kind of showing what's in the junkyards. And then there's your channels like Junkyard Digs and Thunderhead 289 and Mort Ski and all those guys who do the revivals, which frankly, personally, I just that doesn't interest me. And so I love your spin on it. It's sort of that in between. It's like, hey, look, people, there's these opportunities all around us. They're in your backyards, they're, your neighbors and all this stuff. And you do a really good job of highlighting just kind of the hidden gems that are out there. And then in some of the episodes I've seen you sort of just break down how you go about doing it. So how would you say you even got into this sort of like gig or this hookup? What actually interested you in just the search or the find?
Really, I mean, it kind of just something that I've been, I guess I've always been kind of doing. My grandfather, he had, classic cars and stuff, and so did my father. And, just with, I guess, my life, I've always had classic cars around. And so whenever I would see one, I'd be like, oh, look, right, because you obviously don't see them too often. So I'd be like, oh shit, look, there's a damn Camaro, or oh, damn, look, there's a another C10, like so and so had. So it was always like that, and I guess people kind of knew me as the guy who would find stuff, So you know, occasionally I'd get the hey man, I've been looking for this shit, for years. I can't find it. Can you, help me find it? Oh shoot, I already know what one's at, fool. Come on, you can follow me along, and I know exactly where one is. Let's go knock on the door. And they're like, what? Knock on the door? Like, so it kind of just became something like that. And yeah, I mean, that's really how I guess I started really doing this.
And then one day you just decided to pick up the camera and start filming it. Like what led you to do the YouTube side of things?
Okay, so that is actually a pretty interesting part because that has to deal with another YouTuber or YouTubers, I should say. So I'm in California. I'm living out there before the Big Bang happens to all of us, and it's just like I'm working in the shop, and one day I'm sitting down, and one of my old schools. I'm sitting down, and be restore or I'm sorry, Turn in Rust comes on, boom, live. So they some Texas boys. I'm in California. I'm a Texas boy. They're answering people, they're talking to people and stuff on their live, and you know, I don't remember what I said exactly, but it's like it's like Lance Bush was talking to me, and he said, he was just like, "Hey, man, just you can do it too. What we do, you can do it too." He's like, "You have everything there." He's just like, pick up your phone, pick up a camera, pick up whatever, and do it. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna pick up my phone and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I have the shop, I have everything going good or whatever. So I did a practice run on another channel. Hopefully nobody ever sees those videos, but I did that. And yeah, I mean, really, I started all of this because of really because of Lance Bush and White Bush. So they're the ones that really motivated me to do this YouTube shit.
Well, it's funny you say that. I know we had a kind of similar conversation here in the pre-show before we went live about kind of like YouTubers you're drawn to, and isn't it funny how you can resonate with like a message from some complete total stranger, and then all of a sudden here you are doing exactly what you're doing. So I think that's a really cool story. I realized we kind of just got straight into it with you, Eli, and just got straight into the questioning, but we forgot to kind of mention who's all kind of in the chat here tonight. So I did want to say hi to Roy Marcos Garage, Greasy Boy Customs. We have Streetcar Culture, Everything's Broken Garage, Country Boy Gas Garage, King Eric, the greatest of all, Gary Mathis, Big Alan. I'm not going to be able to pronounce your last name correctly. Wasted Talent Fabrications, many more. Oh, Coastal Auto Reactions, Junker Clunker. So we got a good Shopcat Industries. We got a good crowd here tonight. If you guys are enjoying your time here, go ahead and hit the share button on your social media and, tell your friends and they'll tell their friends and so on and all that good stuff. CP, the Tool Addict, dropped a $2 super chat before we even went live. So thank you everybody for being here. Eli, the other part, I think I caught this kind of in a peripheral conversation on another live stream somewhere, but you talked about you just picked the camera up one day and started, and I think that's a really good YouTube tip. Like, make a burner account for your first few videos, and then start doing another one on another account. But did you not for a while, like right at the beginning, kind of have the assistance of a film crew or something in some of the early days?
So yeah, it's a big shout out to my boy Dowd. I'm not sure if he's on or watching or whatever, but yo, my boy Dowd, so all right, so after the Big Bang happens, COVID out here fucking us all, like it's free and shit, so it's like we talk about it prior. I'm in California still. And again, Lance Bush and Wyatt Bush, father son duo, right? I wasn't raised by my dad or nothing like that. Me and my dad just came back into my life. We kind of just got cordial. So, little old me, little old Eli thinking, man, maybe I could do something like Lance and Wyatt Bush, with my dad. And so I come back to Texas and yeah, it's not going down. Like my dad's like, what? Camera crew? What? He's like, man, he's like, yo, that's not going down. We're not having that. I said, what? Why? He's like, that's how you get caught slipping. Mind you, my dad has a little bit of a prison mentality. So he's like, what? We're not doing none of this. We're not filming none of this. And I was, so me and him, we've kind of argued like the Paul Senior, Paul Junior from Choppers. We argue like them pretty intensely. So when it comes to that, he was like, nah, it's not going down. So I kind of had to figure out what I was gonna do. I said, you know what? Fine, I don't need this fool. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just film me in the cars that I have here and there. So so I filmed some of our stuff and everything. So I think by the second video, I'm like, hey guys, I'm ready to go. I'm going to, I'm leaving Houston, going to Austin. We're gonna go do some stuff out there. And the crew's like, what? We can't leave. We've got this and that. And I was like, oh, damn. All right. So I was made to think on my feet, and I already had an idea as to one of the series I wanted to do, which is where car hunting with Henny came about. But yeah, I mean that's really what ended up happening. I had the camera crew, everything was there, but unfortunately we weren't able to keep that up, so I had to be quick on my feet for that.
I think every YouTuber's dream is to someday get to the point to have a maybe not a crew, but even just a cameraman. I still don't have a cameraman. My wife helps me out once in a while, but We did see a $10 super chat come in again from CP the Tool Addict. Thank you so much for that. We won't forget you. At the end of the season, we will be looking at those super chats and maybe doing something a little bit special. Dudes with wrenches also with $5. Thank you very much. I was browsing through your channel, Eli, earlier this week, and just looking at the different variety of cars that come through there. So they're not all mainstream cars. You've got some old, 58, 59, Impalas or Mercuries and different trucks and Volkswagen vans. Like, what to date, since you've been doing your YouTube channel, what's been your favorite car to go film?
Really, I'm gonna say probably my C30. It's the first vehicle I ever got, and that thing was away from me for a while. It was in California, and I'm over here in Texas, so I'm getting phone calls. Hey man, I don't know how to tell you this, but your battery's missing. Or hey man, I came and I see your doors are open. It's in California. I'm in Texas. I'm like, no. I said, man, somebody's gonna steal that thing and it's gonna go all the way to Tijuana or something. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, damn it. I'm like, what can I do? I can't do nothing. I got my rides over there in California. And I'm over here, so I think a lot about that, and I'm just like, man, I look at it and I take that extra second to appreciate it. I'm so glad you're here.
Well, I think that's what makes the genuineness or of your formula so. Well, I guess I'm just gonna repeat myself, but like how you're good at it, right? So you're a transplant from California to Texas, but you very quickly figured out the market, figured out like it's almost like, hey, these same rules apply anywhere is kind of your point, right? Like it's not that the greater Houston or Austin area is where you have to be to find these cars, right? It's kind of like no, you just kind of just got to go do it, and so I really appreciate that. But I'm sure there's also trends in your area, like vehicles that you probably see a lot of, and you don't really have a good explanation why. Is there a certain make or model that you seem to stumble upon all the time in your area that you're like, why are there so many damn fill in the blanks?
Yeah, I kind of feel like when I was in California, I saw a ton. It was a lot of Bel Airs and a lot of Impalas. Those were the bread and butter out there. And then here in Texas, I seem to find, shouldn't be surprising, is trucks. I find a lot of trucks, and shoot, I mean, I guess it really just depends on where you're at, what you're gonna find a ton of. When I was out in Alabama, man, when I say there were so many G bodies, there was a lot of G bodies, out in Alabama. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think every area they have what is cool to them, or what they utilize or whatever. So, yeah, I definitely think like it matters. It is important to what area you're in. I'm not gonna be in Texas and I'm over here just I'm gonna say, well, I'm gonna find the best Impala body here, and that's not, that's probably not gonna happen. I probably have a better chance in the West Coast, but not to say I won't find one. I just will probably find a better one out there.
So one of the things we talked about was before we went live on the show was you kind of going out and finding vehicles for people. If they say, oh, I'm looking for this or I'm looking for that, and you say, well, I already know where there is one, or I can go find you this. What is it specifically that you do for a living that would get you to that point to be able to have that network of knowing where cars are? Is that what you do for your job, or is it just a hobby?
I mean, basically, as a job, I say I'm a car hunter, and I say I am a parts seller. So if so, and specifically as in parts, it'd be mainly trucks, uh, Chevys to be exact. But so it's doing all that, going out to the swap meet. Like you said earlier, Classic Ride Society. He goes to the swap meets a lot, and I mean, shoot, that fool saw everything we had like posted up right there, So he saw the parts and everything and the whole shebang. So, when parts are needed, they're there, for me to sell. And then on the car hunting aspect, it works two ways, which is where YouTube kind of helps me out. And people say, well, you're not monetized, you don't have X amount of subscribers, you don't have that many views. So it's like, yeah, well, guess what, buddy? It didn't take me that much to make a little bit of money off of it, because on that third video that I made with my damn wiener, I made a good amount of money because I had clients that were like, "Yo, where's this vehicle? Where are those two vehicles at? I'll pay you for the information right now." Which is how I work. I don't do that finder's fee crap. It's like, yo, you know, if you want to know where a car is and you want the contact number, I'll sell you that. Because if I give you a price and then the buyer says a different price, I don't want you to be like, well, maybe this guy was trying to scam me out of some money, or maybe he was trying to just upsell me, or that's none of my business. So don't ask me the price. That's none of my business. Location and contact number, that's what you're getting from me. Everything else, so that's how I work it. And then these YouTube videos have helped out because people can scan through them and say, I want that. And then they, contact my email, and bada bing, bada boom. And it's cool. I have some, I guess, some pretty good clients that are pretty consistent with that stuff.
Well, that's really smart because it's like obviously you're just controlling what you can control. It's like, hey, nope, it's this. His name's Bob. He's at 314-662. Whatever. So I really like that approach, and also I bet you, like, because you're doing the videos, like oftentimes you're knocking on doors, and the person who's really wanting their contact information contacting you, Eli, has a little bit of at least a glimpse into a personality type, right? So they kind of know what they're in for when they finally do call this person, knock on their door themselves. They're like, oh, well, I saw the video. This guy's kind of reserved. So they kind of already know how to approach them. So leave the negotiating to somebody else. You get your money for exactly what you talked about. It's a service. It's like, hey, I'll tell you where it's at if you really want it. So I think that's super smart. And so you talk about that whole concept of, yeah, you might not be monetized, and I think that like kind of weaves into the next question pretty well. When it comes to like YouTube advice, is one of the things I always talk about is treat YouTube like a pre-marketing tool. Like if you want to do something bigger on down the road, think about how all your videos could support that. So what would you say to the next person? Obviously we have a lot of automotive YouTubers here. What would you say to the next person? What's your biggest piece of advice of how you can use YouTube as a tool to pre-market themselves?
I would say just hone in on what you like and what and if you don't know, like, don't fake the funk, you know what I mean? Like, don't say, well, I know, say some bull, because they're gonna call you out. So just be like, hey, this is this car. I don't know what motor came in them. Looks like it could be a such and such. I don't know though. Don't kill me in the comments. But be real with it. Don't, like, what I mean, don't, like, fake it or nothing. Like, don't be a know it all, or don't say, oh, well, it's definitely this. And sometimes, people they get caught slipping, and that's it. But for sure, I would say the best thing is just be real, keep it trill. That's what we say out here in Texas, you know what I mean? Keep it trill, true and real.
Well, and that's great advice, because one thing that we hope that we never come across is somebody saying, you're, and I think we talked about a little bit, you're not the same person that we seen on that last video. You're a different person. Well, no, the person you see on my videos is who I am, and the person that you see, Grant, and you, I know just from talking to you. I mean, you're a little more reserved when you do your videos, and I try to be too, because you're trying to appeal to a greater audience.
For sure.
Nobody wants to be come across as somebody who's not something that they really are, or vice versa. So we kind of dived into the YouTube aspect part of it a little bit, and we said that you don't have to make money on YouTube to make money on YouTube. There's different ways. You can sell merchandise, you can sell raffles, you can do sell your project vehicles, whatever you're doing, but you can also do what you do. You can use it as a place for people to find you, to see what see your inventory, see what places that you've been. This isn't just something that I think that you can narrow down to just Texas. You could start spreading it out to neighboring states if you really wanted to travel and find more information. Is that something that you aspire to do to build your channel, is to kind of get outside of where you are, maybe go further into Texas or maybe other states to kind of build your reserve, so to speak?
Well, like I said earlier, like I had some clients that have, told me, hey, come find this vehicle, or hey, so one that was pretty intense and pretty crazy, that was, I can't believe that I even got it done, but I did it in about a week. Was I went out to Mobile, Alabama, helped the guy find his father's first car, and yeah, it was a Catalina. And man, when I say it was hunting, hunting was crazy. But he had the funds, he had the small amount of resources to help me complete the job and get it done. So definitely, if I could have more adventures like that, that would be awesome. I'd like to be able to help people get their dream vehicle, or the one that got away, or whatever. So I mean, that'd be my shit right there. Like I'd really just go, and I'd go all for it. And yeah, I mean, for me it's just simple. I just asked myself two things. I said, what do I want? I said, well, I want to be able to hang out with my wiener. I want to be able to be with my dog, and I want to be around classic cars. So that's like the gig right there, the just the hunting or whatever, and then have that pay for trips, have that pay for projects, have that. So that'd be my jam.
So how do you work the clientele, like, just on a day-to-day basis? I'm sure when somebody reaches out to you and says, "Hey, I want you to find my father's Catalina in Alabama," and you're like, "Wait, well, it's gonna take some time." Like, how do you balance, like, obviously you don't just drop of the hat, just like whatever you were working on before, just jump and go. How do you kind of balance? How do you work people into the schedule, or do you tell them like time frames? Do you say, "Hey, I'm gonna need 4 months," or work us through that a little bit?
Well, with the parts, that's the main bread and butter. But with the parts, I don't have to be there. I can just call my pops, be like, "Hey, yo, this fool needs a door or whatever," or he'll call me, vice versa. Hey, we need to be on the lookout for this, or So I don't have to be right there for that. So I have the luxury of being mobile. I can go anywhere, anytime. At the drop of a hat. So if somebody tells me tomorrow, "Yo, I'm paying you like 3 bands or 4 bands for this," all right, cool, I'm there. Like, money talks. So that's what's gonna really move me. But as far as like the hunt itself, like I let him know, hey, this is one specific vehicle. This isn't a Catalina. This is the Catalina. So I don't know if we're gonna find it, and I let them know, like, yo, I can't promise you. Maybe we find the person and maybe they scrapped it, or maybe we find out where it is and maybe it was stolen from them. There's so many different possibilities. So I just let them know, hey, you know, I'm gonna do my job, but just know that it might not be, a pot of gold at the end of the motherfucking rainbow. So.
One of the things that I've talked about on my channel is changing the direction of our car dealership. We sell used cars, late model stuff, but I slowly want to get into, and of course, like you said, when the big bang happened, it was kind of at the wrong time for us, because that's when we really wanted to take that opportunity to make that shift. And now we've kind of got it on hold because we can't cross the border right now, right yet anyway.
Mhm.
Having said that, I would be looking to, meet up with a contact of some sort, such as yourself, to help find certain vehicles if someone was looking for something. And I'm sure that you'd be open to that. Um, right now, do you have other contacts in different places that will help you find a specific car? Like, you know, you're not in Alabama, so it's kind of hard to track down this car. Did you have somebody in Alabama looking with you or for you?
Really, it was just his his notes that he had in his contact of where the car might have been. So I mean, I just had to really do. It was a lot of researching and a lot of phone calls, and I, you know, I just remember having to do some things that I wasn't used to, you know, but not like nothing strange for some change or nothing like that, but like, you know, just like, you know, I had to look up a certain person. That person passed away. So then I had to look up the person's wife and then I had to contact them. I couldn't contact her directly. I had to call family members. And you know, it's pretty odd. I remember I got a call from I got an answer and some guy goes, "What's up? This is my mom's phone." And I was like, "Yo, I'm just calling because of this vehicle. I'm searching for this person." And he's like, "Well, shoot, if we had a '64 Catalina, I sure as hell ain't wouldn't tell you about it." And then you know he hung up on me. And so you know it's like you know you don't know who you're gonna deal with, like who's gonna pick up that phone. So you know what I mean, like it's a little weird, but you know I mean it comes with a gig.
Well, I hope none of those searches have ended in you finding the car and then the person's like, "Oh yeah, that's in pretty rough shape. I don't want it." I hope not. That would be pretty like what? I found the Holy Grail and you don't want it now. But hopefully, anyway. So Eli. I did want to say I saw in the chat a couple people mentioning that you plan on having an after party, kind of another live stream shortly following our show. So, if you want to tell people how to find your channel, as well as like I wanted to make mention of your almost to 850 subscribers, and CarGuy and SixFan show. We really like helping get people closer to that 1,000 threshold any way we can. So maybe tell the chat, those who are seeing you for the first time, how to find you on YouTube. I mean, obviously type in Monster Rust in the search bar there, but and kind of what you have planned for your live stream short, as soon as we're done.
Yeah, you know, the next live stream I'm gonna do right after this one, cause you know, I've been kind of doing after parties after y'all's live streams, but um, you know, I got B McQueen coming through, I got Ashley Vaughn, she's coming through as well, and you know, they're gonna come through to my channel, hang out, you know, have a good time with me and my wiener, so you know, it's gonna be going down and definitely you know get to know the trash content crew as well. So the trash content crew, that's the homies that I do a lot of the lives with. You know, stuff with Cletus, Robert's Garage, 615. You know, we've got a whole gang of people, Wasted Talent Fabrication, you know, so it's CP the Tool Addict. It's, you know, so many of us coming together, Wood and Metal Garage, and you know the list goes on. We got a whole gang, you know, we gang up in here. So like we just, you know, we're gonna be doing Volvo build up in Iowa. That's gonna be coming in April of next year. So it's gonna be like 10 YouTube channels coming together to get this LS Volvo all on the road, and hopefully we'll be able to do stuff like Power Tour and everything, and maybe race other YouTubers with it. I don't know. It's gonna be pretty weird, pretty wild and crazy. But if you guys want to check that out, the after party after this live, it's gonna be on Monster Rust. So come hang out. But yeah, that's what it is.
So I put the link in the chat, guys, if you want to head on over to Monster Rust YouTube channel for the after party or the after show, whatever you want to call it, and take in some sights. Also, while you're there, if you happen to check out a few other videos of his, and you're inclined to, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Just like the rest of us, we're all on a quest, you know, to grow our channels, and I'm sure that's he would appreciate that very much. I think last time I was over there to check and see what his subscriber count was. I think he's at 841 right now. So make sure you head on over there, see what he's got to offer. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I was pretty impressed when I first kind of stumbled upon it there a while back, and I think that you will be too. So as we move into kind of the next segment of one of the things that we do like to do Eli, is kind of probe each other for information on what's coming up. Is there something that you want to share with everybody in the chat that's coming up soon on an upcoming video on your channel?
Man, to be real, I kind of just shoot from the hip. Like, I don't know what's coming next. Shit. What do I got coming up? I've been working on that old postal Jeep. I'm gonna do something with it. I can't tell you what. It just depends on what I got time for, what the budget is, and kind of like I'll have my people contact your people. We'll see what we can do, kind of thing. So it's gonna be that. I'm working on the C30 as well. Shoot, got some, I guess, some more junkyard stuff. And it's just crazy because I don't get to film everything every time, and a good amount of my higher end clients don't like for me to show some of the stuff that they have me out filming or checking out, or if I find something, I send it to them and say, "Great, I love the vehicle. Don't post this." So I'm just like, "Well, damn, thanks a lot," but then they pay me, so it's like, okay, it's all good. We're good.
That's pretty good. Yeah, for myself, I honestly, I really thought I was gonna get ahead on content there for a while, and then my Sunday happened and threw me for a loop, and I didn't film anything. So I don't even know what I'm doing this coming weekend, but I think it's gonna be more truck content. I think I'm gonna be swapping some parts over if I get down to my parents' house, but I don't really want to promise that. Jason,
Shoot
what
for
do you
the
got
hip.
coming up on Old Car Guy?
Well, if you guys watched last night's premiere, you'll know that I'm having troubles with the EFI on Dale the Truck. So, although today I did get it running, and it's running great, we had it out for a little test drive, and I did bring the camera along. So, probably for a video first of the week, you'll see that. And my brother-in-law Tommy's coming over. We're going to be working on that 440 tomorrow evening, and we're going to try and get it almost buttoned up and ready to drop in the car. So stay tuned for some 440 action on Old Car Guy.
It would be this part of the show where we usually open it up to the chat. So if you got a question for Eli at Monster Rust, go ahead and put that in the chat now. We'll try to get that answered for you. But in the meantime, Eli, I did just want to say I grew up with a wiener dog myself. Buster was his name. So what do you affectionately name your wiener?
Henny for many.
Henny for many.
There you go. Dude. What a cutie. Yeah. And if you want to follow Eli on Instagram, I believe he's got 2 handles. You got Henny for Many, as well as Monster Rust. Is that are you operating both of those at the same time?
Yeah. Monster Rust Rides was my personal account before, so I kind of just put the name there just for the name's sake. It was my personal account, so I just switched it over to that, and I don't really use that one as much. Yeah, but I mainly get on Henny's more. I mainly like to just stay on his, and I don't really I don't really get on the other one as much, but yeah, I get on the one with Henny.
Well, so this question come in. Go ahead, Grant.
Oh, this is awkward. So our buddy Jason from Streetcar Culture, Hemisphere and A Day Away, asks if you have a jacuzzi for the after party, Eli.
The jacuzzi, well, it just all really depends, honestly. I think I have it just there with a cover on it, but if they want to come, cool. Women allowed topless. I mean, it is what it is. No rules, it's all good.
We also had a couple of questions. Both of them relate. So we had Dudes with Wrenches asking, what's your favorite car? But we also have one from Everything is Broken Garage asking what was the most exciting score to date. So maybe they're the same thing. Maybe it's 2 different questions.
My favorite car is my grandfather's 1962 Cadillac Barritz convertible. I got it. I have that in my first video. That is the dream build. That's gonna be the build. That I probably pour a little more extra than what I should into, but that's definitely my favorite car. Just a lot of memories of me and my grandfather, and just I guess a lot of lessons learned on the vehicle. And at that time, I remember I just remember my grandfather would say, "Hey, come help me with this," So I'd help him out, and I would try to run away from it. I don't want to work, and you're a little kid, and he'd be like, and I'd be finished, and I kind of walk away slowly, and he'd be like, hey, 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 get back over here, we're not done, So yeah, definitely the '62 Cadillac, and then what was the most exciting score to date? It's another one that got away, but I found a real uh Pontiac GTO Judge, and at first I thought it was a clone. I said, well, steering wheel's wrong. It's got a freaking Buick steering wheel, and it's got the badges in the wrong area. So I did that, and yeah, so that's probably the biggest and most regrettable vehicle, because I ran the van, I did everything, and I came back and it was gone. And yeah,
Wow.
that's probably the best and worst at the same time. So my favorite
Well,
food.
before we get to that one, I just wanted to
uh,
follow up on that judge a little bit. So, what kind of resources do you recommend to the next person? Like you said, you looked up the VIN. What kind of resources do you use on a regular basis to kind of help identify or just help your cause out? I guess is what I'll say.
man, for Pontiac, just because I never, I'm mainly a Chevy guy, but for Pontiac, I had to go through, man, I forgot the name of the company. I want to say it's like, is it Pontiac Association or Pontiac? It's something like that. I forgot, but it's something to that regards to where they can tell you what it was, where it was manufactured, everything. So I went and I checked with them, and yeah, I mean everything checked out. I just always say, if you can find somebody to work, the tag and the VIN and everything for you, that's that's the best way to go, just because that's what's on the car and that's how you'll identify everything. But for that Pontiac, I forgot the name of the company. It's like, was it Pontiac? It was, I forgot, Pontiac Association or Pontiac, something like that. But yeah, that's just how I did it. There you go, Pontiac Historical Society.
I knew somebody would have it in the chat, and I was wondering if Terry Eford was going to be in the chat tonight, but he probably could tell you as well. Let's get back to that question. I'm almost curious about this one myself. Junker Clunkers is asking you, what's your favorite food?
Well, I had to think about it. Probably be Whataburger.
Whataburger.
Yeah, man. When I was, I've lived in, I lived in a couple different states, and man, that's the number one thing I hate. It's just I can't be around that Whataburger, and it's an addiction. I like waking up at 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning and going to go get me a bite.
So then I think that leads me into the classic debate then, and I guess I probably know where your allegiance lies, but there's that big, since you've lived in both Texas and California, you can clearly put an end to the whole In-N-Out versus Whataburger debate then, right?
Look, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, In and Out, they got that sauce that's cool or whatever. They got them fries that are cardboard. They taste like trash. Uh, and the meat, it's just there's something about it that's just, I don't know. It's just, it ain't Texas. So definitely Whataburger all day. If I give In and Out two things, which is the shakes. Shakes are cool. And that sauce. The sauce is alright. That's about it.
Where are all
I
my
know personally.
Canadians at here? Anyway, like, we don't have that stuff up here, man. Somebody else mentioned White Castle. Like, we don't even have Chick-fil-A for Pete's sake. Not that it's that great, but I guess we're missing out.
What a horrible country you live in then.
Terrible, right? Terrible.
Well, I know personally for myself, so I'm in, we'll call it Big 12 country, but Whataburger is a huge sponsor of Big 12, but it just took until the last calendar year for Whataburger to finally make it up to the Kansas City Metro. So we'd always see the advertisements for something that you couldn't have. So every time we go to Oklahoma or Texas, we'd have it, and I do like it. But personally, I like Shake Shack better than In-N-Out and better than Whataburger myself. But well, that's kind of, for me, that's kind of exhausting. What I don't see any other questions in the chat at the moment, but Jason, do you have anything else for our guests?
Yeah, I just got a quick question. There is so, I mean, obviously you're traveling from California to Texas. Have you ever made it up north? How close to Canada have you ever been?
I mean, shoot, New York, but I didn't. I mean, I flew over there. I haven't been to, anywhere like Virginia, or haven't been to North Dakota or any of the border states like that. And Canada. I mean, yeah, I guess Canada. You could see it from one area in New York and stuff, but yeah, I haven't really been over there. Got to venture out over there. My pops, he's got some. He's got some homies out there. He told me, I think he's got some homies that own like, I think some strip clubs out there or something like that. So I definitely want to roll through with him to go check out the spots, see if they're up to American standards.
Well, it
Like an
depends on what you're
international
looking for.
inspector of sorts is what you're
I
saying.
mean, in the strip club, titties and ass.
Yeah, I've never walked inside one, ever, since I was married. I'll put that there. So, anyways, we are getting close to the end of the show. Eli, is there anything else that you want to share with us that maybe you might want to have some guys head on over to your channel? Go ahead and invite them one more time, or if there's something before we close the show.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, guys, if anybody's looking for any rides or whatever, just holla at me. I'm your boy to hunt them cars out or whatever. Me and my team will get it done. If I can't find it, Henny sure can find it.
Sniff it out.
Yeah, he'll sniff it out. It just it's crazy. I mean, the adventures that I get to have with him, it's just so it's awesome because in hindsight, I know it's gonna make some really great memories. Like I said, I got to start doing this stuff because of Lance and Wyatt Bush from Be Restored, and I think like God, the early beginning. I want to say it was like my fifth video. They contacted me for their Opel GT. So I got to film that out, and their Opel GT got 25 million or something views. It went super viral on their old channel, and yeah, they contacted me. I brought it to them. I got it for them, and they so I got to film that. I'm still waiting on them to drop that, but yeah, I got to take it out to them. So I mean, you can see, anybody big, small, rich, or middle class, whatever. I'll help people out, work with them, see what I can do. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter what the vehicle is. If you have some information for me to work with, it's definitely possible. And when it's a specific vehicle like that, just be aware that it might not be for certain. Luckily, Lance and Wyatt Bush, I think they only had that car, I think, sold for about a year or something. So tracking it wasn't hard. It was in Houston, so it was in the backyard. So Henny got that for us right there.
Do you have a preferred method of communication for someone to initiate that initial contact?
People usually hit me up on the email. A lot of people hit me up on the email, but for me, it's kind of just like Instagram's fine. If you have me on Facebook or whatever, you happen to see me on there, that's fine. Just I guess on the comments, I won't really respond to that just because of having to be putting that information. It's already there, so if somebody's serious, they're gonna get in contact with me rather than just, hey man, what's up?
Yeah, well, that's good. It's I'll definitely have to throw you a message and see if we can't get some contact information from each other, because we will be starting to do some searching for different vehicles and stuff like that might be potential sales for us. But if you can find us and point us in the right direction, that would be great. Do you have channel stickers for your channel, Eli?
I don't. I'm gonna wait till I hit about 1,000 or so to do that as a celebration and everything. So
All right.
I'm gonna wait on that.
Once you do, hit us up. Grant and I, we each have channel stickers. We'd be more than happy to send some to you. So just hit us up in the DMs, and we'll.
Yeah, for sure. In the meantime, we can send you ours.
Yep.
All righty. Yeah, for sure. Everybody's talked about that. I haven't really figured out where I want to do it, but 615 Customs, he has it all on a sign. So I think I might just do that. Put it like on a stop sign or something. Have one of the little homies go get me one somewhere in the block.
Just kind of end up with one, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, Eli, for coming on. I mean, I really enjoyed I think I speak for Jason to say I really enjoyed the chat and getting to know you. And I think, honestly, I feel like, I guess I didn't even realize you were doing this as a business. And so it was really fun. And for me to, this was a great conversation. So I just wanted to say thanks. I'm going to put my mic on mute, let Jason close it out. But Eli, if you wanted to say any last kind of parting shots, go for it.
Yeah, hey man, it's Eli from H-Town, Houston, and I just want to say, I really appreciate old CarrGuy for having me on here, and I really appreciate Grant from Straight SixFan right here that you see that's hosting this. If you happen to be somebody who's subbed to me and you see me on here, follow them. They've got some great content. Like I told them earlier, I got to see Jason working on his Grand Marquis. I used to have a Grand Marquis, and he didn't know it, but he was an inspiration for me and what I was doing at the time with that car. And Grant's got this truck that was his first truck. That's so awesome. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go check that out. Trash Content Crew, we've got a crazy build coming up, and the after party is going down, man, on my channel. So come check it out.
Yeah, guys. So make sure you head on over to Monster Rust after our show, because he's going to be hosting up an after party. I guess it's something that you're not going to want to miss. Maybe if I have a few minutes, I'll pop in to say hi. Also, don't forget, next week we are back on my channel for the CarrGuy and SixFan show. No guest next week, but we do have a special show in store. So make sure you head on over for that. Thanks to everybody in the chat for being here. We had lots of conversations going on back and forth. And we really appreciate you guys, making this show what it is, because without you guys watching, we wouldn't be doing it, obviously. And also, Eli, thank you so much for being a guest on the show, because without guests, we wouldn't be doing much either. So thank you very much for being a part of the show. Oh, there's Henny. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to call it quits for this evening. We're going to head on over to Monster Rust. I'll leave a link in the chat so you guys can make your way over there and see what's going on. So next week, my channel. Stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror, guys. We'll see you next week.